covering some Britpop songs, and this is specifically talking about the Britpop movement, which, is specific to the 90s. Dom, what are the exact years?
So we can be pedantic and say like, oh no, dude, it started in 1991. No, for me, it's like it started in 92 with the release of Pop Scene and The Drowners by Blur and Suede respectively, and ended in 1997 with the release of Blur's self-titled album, with Oasis's Be Here Now album, and then Radiohead releasing OK Computer.
Right. So we go from a period before Britpop that was, there was British music in popular culture, such as like the Smiths and the Cure, but it's kind of a different situation. And then afterwards, we just go into another different situation. So let's see. We have quite a few songs today to go through. And I think the best place to start, we're going to go chronologically. So the best place to start is a song by the Stone Roses, who are not often like referred to as explicitly Britpop, but they definitely paved the way.
Yes, they're very foundational, specifically to Oasis. Noel Gallagher has famously stated if he had never seen the Stone Roses live, he would have never started or joined Oasis.
He said that way too many times.
Yeah.
Because he's extremely repetitive as a person.
And another note before we begin the song, me and Jacob are not going to be talking very much today.
We don't know very much.
We don't know that much about Britpop. However, we have a series of trivia questions to ask, and we're going to turn this into kind of a competition of Ian versus Dom, who knows more about Britpop. Now, preliminarily, who do you guys think knows more about Britpop?
Dom.
Me.
Okay, well, we're going to put that to the test.
It's not a who do you think. It is just true.
I think it's after each song, maybe we'll do a question.
Yeah, I think that's good.
We'll do a trivia question, and then we'll talk a little more about Britpop history.
Yeah. I think that's a great idea.
Okay, fantastic.
So again, we're starting with She Bangs the Drums by the Stone Roses. Enjoy.
Spiral through another day. I hate my soul.
Oh my goodness.
my
Bless you.
God.
Welcome back.
Wow.
Welcome back. That was She Bangs the Drums by Stone Roses. So, Dom, what is your connection to the Stone Roses? Like, I know you have a favorite when it comes to all the different Britpop bands, but like, what drew you to the Stone Roses, and how far into your interest in Britpop did you encounter them?
Stone Roses came up pretty early in my first initial dive into Britpop because I saw so many people citing the Stone Roses. Like I said, Noel Gallagher earlier. Pulp has a song called "Sword Out for Ease and Whiz," which is about a famous Stone Roses concert at Spike Island.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And so seeing all these bands reference Stone Roses, like, shit,
Oh.
I gotta listen to this band. And then I did. I listened to the first track, "I Want to Be Adored," and I said, okay, this is good. But then I listened to "She Bangs the Drum," and I'm like, okay, I'm sold on this band.
Right. Yeah, it's very loud. I love that intro, that like first guitar hit is very powerful.
I think the bass line very driving.
Yeah.
It's almost like kind of sort of spy movie-ish
Yeah.
that starts out.
Yeah, and I like that there's sort of a guitar solo, but it's also like not really in the style of a guitar solo. It's just kind of like this little
Yeah.
thing going on. It's not like drawing a lot of attention to itself. Okay, well, my understanding is we have a trivia question.
Yeah, we do.
Indeed.
Yes.
So the way this is going to go is we're going to ask the question. We're going to give you 4 possible options. And then I think...
You each need to answer which one you believe it is.
Yeah.
It's a multiple choice question.
Multiple
Now,
choice,
okay.
what if we added another element to the
Okay.
multiple choice
Yeah.
for Dom, which is if you can answer it without the multiple choice, you get 2 points.
Okay.
like this.
I like
I like
that.
this.
I like that.
I like this.
Okay, so
Okay,
without further ado,
so-
we've chosen the first question. So
The first question is, who is credited with coining the term Britpop? Dom.
Is it Melody Maker Magazine?
And the 4 options are Joe Wiley, Steve Lamacq, Andrew Collins, and Stuart McConey.
These
Done.
are some journalists or
Mhm.
personalities that I
Probably-
don't
probably,
know.
yeah.
These are not musicians because famously Britpop acts do not like to be called Britpop.
Mm.
So I'll go with Steve Lamacq, respected radio show host, TV presenter.
I'm going to go with one of the others.
All right.
okay.
So the answer was Stuart McConey. I don't know who that is.
I don't
Do you
know who
anyone
that is.
knows
Who the heck is
Nope.
that?
Who the
Bad
hell-
question.
Wah.
Bad
I have
question.
no idea.
If we had the what's the
If there were real Britpop fans here, they
Yeah.
need to answer that question.
So I mean, Dom really took us to school on that one. If you really think about it, because he, gave us what the Britpop fanatic, what the Britpop band member would have to say about that term.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, you can blame theguardian.com for that one.
Okay.
So
Thank you,
Yeah.
Guardian.
let's move on. Let's move on.
Okay.
Dom,
Yes.
what's the next song we're gonna play?
The next song we're going to play is The Drowners by Suede, my favorite band. And this is the song along with Blur's Pop Scene. Technically that song came out first, but this song was more successful and is cited as the first actual Britpop song.
Wow.
Tell us a little more about Suede and what does Suede mean to you?
And why is the name in the U.S. different?
Okay.
Lots of questions.
So,
go ahead.
from the start, Suede is my favorite band because growing up, really into classic rock, especially of the dramatic Queen, David Bowie, especially David Bowie going into high school. And from there, I was looking for more artists who were in a similar vein or who had music that had that same feeling. And I heard the song Animal Nitrate, and I was like, ooh, that's a good tune. I need to look into this band. And I listened more and more, and I kept hearing stuff that I liked, and I loved all their stuff that I heard. And then they just became really important band to me. And then in 2022, they played their first show in the United States, their first tour in the United States since 1997. So I was living in Denver at the time. I bought a flight, I flew out, skipped school, called out of work, and went to their shows. And it was amazing. Favorite
Wow.
shows I've ever been to. And then as for the London Suede question, it's because when Suede first appeared on the scene, there was this jazz singer in the East Coast already going by Suede. And she sued Sony Records saying, hey, that's my name. You can't have that. So they had to adjust their name to the London Suede,
Specifically in the U.S.
specifically only in the U.S.
To the point where there are 2 Spotify profiles.
Yes.
There's one that's Suede and one that's the London Suede, and it's the same exact thing.
Exact same.
And Dom, you're a bit of a Suede purist. I know all of the records that you collect of theirs, you have to make sure that they're the British
This is not
version.
true. This is
I thought it
fake
was.
news from Jacob.
Fake news? What?
This is fake news.
What?
This is fake news from
What are you
Jacob.
talking
They're
about?
fake,
Elaborate.
fake news and fake friend.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Because
Dang.
what's the easiest to buy in the United States?
I thought you were going around like trying to collect all the.
Trying to. That,
Oh.
that doesn't mean
okay.
that.
Oh man.
All right. Well, I just got
anyway.
taken to school once again.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
We
embarrassing.
hate
That's
you,
okay.
Jacob.
We
Okay.
hate Jacob.
So Dom, you are along with being influenced by them in your music and all that. I would say that you're also influenced by this sort of dramatic rock genre in the way that you dress.
Yes.
Would you like to tell us a bit about, well, first, what you're currently wearing?
What are you wearing?
You wearing?
How typical it is for you to be wearing, and where some of that inspiration comes from.
So I'm wearing a very long black wool overcoat and then a button-down shirt and a tie to
Mhm.
go with it. Get off your phone,
my
fool.
bad.
Get off your phone. I
Dude,
know
I'm
it's not
listening.
interesting
I'm
for
still
you.
listening.
It's not interesting.
No, I'm still.
Yes,
Wow.
Sam was on
No,
reels.
I'm not.
Sam
No,
was
I'm not.
sleeping. Sam was about to snore.
Breaking news: Sam Jarris, disgraced co-host of Playing the Changes, caught red-handed with his phone in his hand while also the radio show is also going on. Also.
Well, anyways, to answer your question quickly, the lead singer of Suede, Brett Anderson, and more importantly, Jarvis Cocker, lead singer of Pulp, greatly influenced my fashion sense, I guess, because Pulp, Jarvis Cocker, very into vintage fashion and especially suits.
Mm-hmm.
And I have amassed quite a collection of suits.
Indeed,
Yeah.
very much the case. Especially this gorgeous wool overcoat
Thank
that
you.
we see in front of us.
You used to have one that was made of a funny material. You used to have a sequin suit.
It wasn't a suit.
Oh.
It was a jacket.
All right.
Oh.
All right.
And it was like clearance from Kohl's. I said,
Awesome,
this is
dude.
funny. Let me buy it. And I wore it twice.
Had some Kohl's cash to spare.
Once, my mom had some cold cash to spare.
Let's go.
Once with like the day after I got it, and then the second time when I came up in 2023 to see Sam J play for his first show.
Wow.
It's true. He was wearing the sequin jacket. It was very nice. It was very fresh.
Well, fantastic. Shall we get into our second song here?
Let's do it.
Yes.
Without
This is,
further ado. Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Oh,
go
no,
ahead.
sorry. No,
No,
you
go ahead. Go
No,
ahead. Go ahead.
I-
Hey.
you
The
don't get to
Drowners
talk
by
much.
Suede.
There
You
we
don't get
go.
to talk much.
Thank
Welcome back to Playing the Changes.
You just heard The Drowners by Suede.
Debut single, 1992.
Wow. What else you got to say about Suede, Dom?
So Suede, there's an iconic cover of, I believe, Melody Maker magazine. It's lead singer Brett Anderson wearing a cropped leather jacket with behind him the Union Jack, and the title says "Yanks Go Home." And this was basically what kickstarted Britpop. They were rejecting the American grunge of the time and said, "We don't relate to this. This is what we have to say."
Mm-hmm. They didn't like that Nirvana stuff.
No, they didn't. There's actually an interesting story from Mr. Noel Gallagher, because he loves to tell stories. Select magazine.
Select magazine.
And Noel Gallagher was saying, yeah, I love Nirvana, but I'd hear stuff like, I want to kill myself and I want to die or something like that. And he said, no, I don't want to do that. So I'm going to write Live Forever. Because they were more optimistic.
Live forever.
They're a little simple mentally.
Oasis.
The Gallaghers.
They are.
Those Gallaghers.
I have an interesting story about the Britpop era, and also my favorite movie, and a movie that Sam is quite fond of, Trainspotting.
One of my favorite too.
So
Great
Trainspotting
film.
has
Yes.
a very unique soundtrack.
Yes, it does.
In that it is comprised like very much of songs that were popular, but also very like UK. Like
extremely.
It's kind of like it came at the exact right time. The movie came at the right time. It intersected with like this whole, I would say the like latter half of Britpop, coming out in 1996, and it's just got like a great score through and through. And so we have songs from Blur, we have songs from Pulp, we've got a song from I think Elastica in here, yeah, and then others, Iggy Pop, Lou Reed. But there was going to be an Oasis song. That's at least what they wanted. But when they reached out to Oasis, the Gallaghers, without really looking into it any further, just went, "What? It's a movie about trains," and then did not nothing else. No one
Who wants to watch
yeah,
a movie about sporting trains?
I feel like in my mind what happened is that someone, like one of their like assistants, told them that, and then they were like, "That's about trains," and then the person was like, "No, it's actually not," and they're like,
It's stupid.
and so they've talked in interviews about this, but I feel like that is really the quintessential Oasis is a band full of just morons.
Idiots.
Yeah,
Hey, they got passion.
Simpletons.
they've got passion, but
Not a lot of stuff going on up there.
it's pretty hollow up there. I'm sure there's great acoustics inside their head.
Yeah.
So
Do we have another trivia question?
we do, don't we?
So actually, the trivia
well,
question was going to be about who was on the cover of that magazine, but
But yeah,
Melody
someone-
Maker?
yeah.
Well, I
but,
guess Dom
Yeah,
wins
the
that
one-
one.
Dom
yeah,
wins
the
that.
one-
So
yeah, Dom,
I
you
think we
that
get
one.
that's
Before,
that
you
is
didn't
that's
even-
That's a triple point.
that might be
was a
That
triple
might be
point.
triple
Yeah.
points because you guessed the question
It's
before
true.
Yeah.
we even got a chance to ask it.
right.
Okay, so we've got 3
so
points
we
for
have-
Dom on the board.
We have a different question though.
Okay.
Yeah, and this question's a little more. How many studio albums have Suede released?
So Suede,
3, 2,
I believe I
1.
released 10.
I have no idea. I'll guess 11.
So they have their debut, Dogman Star, coming up, Head Music, A New Morning, Blood Sports, what's it called? Night Thoughts, The Blue Hour. Oh, they're going to release 10 coming up soon. They're not 9.
And
They got The Blue Hour and Autofiction. So 10 would coming up soon.
for all the listeners at home who can't see what's going on in the studio, Dom actually has his phone in front of him.
Yeah,
With all of the,
yeah.
with all of the
Yeah,
Suede
totally,
albums.
totally.
You know
Yeah.
what, Dom? I'm gonna take your word on that. This quiz that we're getting these questions from is 11 years old. So it said 6 back then, but I think it's
So that would
think
have
it's
been
9.
before Blood Sports is out. So then Blood Sports would have been 7, Night Thoughts,
And
Blue
Auto-
Hour.
and-
Or Blood Sports would have been out, so then Night Thoughts, Blue Hour, Autofiction.
Wow.
Autofiction is really good.
Autofiction
Wow.
is very
I
good.
really
2022 album.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
I loved She Leads Me. She Still Leads Me On.
Yes, I heard that the first time on the Denver RTD going to work, and I was thinking, please be good, because
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if they still had it.
They have it.
They had it.
That is like that's one of the only songs by a group that is like, 30 years plus past when they were popular and made a song that I like as much as some of their earlier songs. They also sound like the same.
Well, I think Brett's voice has changed. Some could argue for the better because he isn't as pitchy.
Little lower, a
Yeah.
little less screechy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what can you guys tell us about Pulp?
Pulp. Jarvis Cocker. Pulp formed in 1978. They had a long time in the mud.
Yeah.
They had 3 records before they broke out into the mainstream, I guess. Only one of them is really good, but hey, that's fine. That third album was in development, release hell, I guess. They had it done a year ahead of the release date, but their publisher was going on about some nonsense.
Oh no.
And they had already been writing a new batch of songs, including this next one, Babies, which is another Stone Cold Britpop classic, released in 1993 on the Sisters EP, later on their 1994 album, His and Hers.
Ian, what can you add add to this?
I would like to add just some information about Jarvis Cocker that I like. One, that's his real name.
Jarvis
Cocker.
Yes.
Cocker.
What?
Jarvis
Weird
Cocker.
name.
He was meant for the stage.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like a celebrity name.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's one thing. Another thing, I would just like to honestly talk about his songs that he made for the Harry Potter movies.
Ooh,
There are 2. One is Magic Works, and the other one is Do the Hippogriff.
Yeah.
Both are really way better than they should be.
They have some Radiohead members on
Yes,
it, too.
they've got what is it? Is it
Supergroup.
Johnny Greenwood, Colin Greenwood, and one of the others or something?
I think so.
And then it's collaboration with also just the guy who did the Harry Potter soundtrack. But like, amazingly good song. He also makes an appearance in the movie as like the band playing that at the school ball.
That's awesome.
He's also great friends with Wes Anderson. Has done a lot of music for his films.
Yeah, and
Which
honestly,
which films?
Fantastic Mr. Fox.
The whole score.
Not
Just
the
like
whole score. He did
or
a song for that.
Wow.
and honestly, just like probably, I would say a lot of people think Wes Anderson is very well dressed. I would say that he probably stole that all from Jarvis Cocker.
This is
because
probably
it's
true.
just some suits, but like him, they're pastel, and on Jarvis Cocker they are not, and they look better on Jarvis Cocker.
Yeah.
So without further
Heard it here.
ado,
And yeah, Playing the Changes beef started with Wes
Wes
Anderson.
Anderson.
Wes Anderson.
All right. We're going to see how that bodes after we listen to Babies by Pulp.
Well, it happened years ago when you lived on Standard Road. We listened to your sister when she came home from school, 'cause she was 2 years older and she had boys in her room. At least outside I heard her, alright. Well, that was alright for a while, but soon I wanted more. I wanna see as well as hear, and so I hid inside her wardrobe, and she came home round 4, and she was with some kid called David, from the garage up the road. I listened outside, I heard her, alright. I wanna take you home, I wanna give you children. You might be my girlfriend. Yeah, 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 yeah. saw you next day, I really couldn't tell, 'cause you might go and tell your mother. And so you went with me, oh yeah, it was coming on. And I thought I heard you laughing, when it's mom and dad, we're gone. I listened outside, I heard you, alright. I wanna take you home, I wanna give you children, and you might be my girlfriend. Yeah, 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 yeah. Well, I guess it couldn't last too long. I came home one day, and all the things are gone. I fell asleep inside, I never heard her come. Oh, I opened up the wardrobe, and I had to get it on, yeah. Oh, listen, oh, we were on the bed when you came home. I heard you stop outside the door. I know you won't believe it's true. I went with her, 'cause she looks like you, my God. Oh, I wanna take you home, I wanna give you children, but you might be my girlfriend. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Welcome back to Playing the Changes.
That was.
That was a little quiet.
Woo! What?
We're back to Playing the
changes.
What's up, check it Ian and Tom?
That's right.
That was "Babies" by Pulp. That was the Sisters EP version. From what I've understood from the two of you bantering, there's a difference between the EP version and the
Only very slight in
the album
production.
version. I see.
Yeah.
I see.
You wouldn't really notice it most of the time.
What is the difference?
It's just a slight difference.
I'm just
Okay.
like
Oh.
maybe a different
Oh.
vocal take, maybe like different instrument takes, and more synths are prominent, but like it's the same song.
Gotcha. At its
Okay.
core. At its core.
Okay.
I
see.
I think
Well,
we should
that's
just get
Pulp.
into
Well, that's Pulp.
I think we should get into the trivia question right
Yep.
away.
Okay.
We do. We have a trivia question for you.
How old was Jarvis Cocker when he formed Pulp?
I believe he was.
My guess is
like 17. Yeah.
Okay, well the
Here are the options.
Here are the options.
Here are
Here
your
are the
choices.
13, 15, 18, and 22.
I'm gonna say 15 then.
What do
I'm
you
gonna
say?
also say 15.
It was 15.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's 1 point. One
That
point
is,
for you.
we're 4-1.
Let's go. Oh, Ian's keeping track. Fantastic.
Yep.
Here's how Ian can still win.
Here's how Ian gets to win. Ian and I were talking earlier about the over/under that we set for him being late, and
That's
I
true.
think
Yeah.
the under is going to win.
How many? What was the? It was
It
3.
was 4,
4.
and he's been late once.
Mm-hmm.
Good
Well,
job.
hey, there's still a couple
Good
weeks
job.
left.
There's still a couple.
Here's
weeks
how
left.
we can still win.
Yeah. Here's how. Here's
how
how.
we can
Here's
still-
how we could still win.
Break Ian's leg.
But you're right. Now there's no more. There's no excuse to be late.
Yeah,
That's true.
Ian had his
That's true.
obligation moved around.
The
so
obligation changed. I'm no longer
Yeah.
obligated.
no longer
Until
Ian's
a
a free
different- a
Ian's a
different
free
time.
agent. Ian's
Yeah,
a free agent.
it's true.
That's true.
Hire Ian.
So I think you're right. I think the under probably will take it. What did you have? Did you have the under?
I think I had the under. Yeah,
Dang it!
I know.
Sam J, always a critic.
You lose some. You lose some more.
Story of my life.
When it rains, it pours.
Oh.
What else can you guys tell us about Pulp?
So in 1995, they released their breakout album, Different Class, with their probably most famous single, Common People.
Mhm.
It charted #2. It's one of the famous #2 single songs.
What was? Do you happen to know what was number one? While
No,
it
it's
was
one of
number
those
two?
songs. It's like Strawberry Fields Forever by the Beatles. It charted #2. Nobody remembers what #1 was. Yeah, I know you're laughing to
You don't
yourself.
remember? You don't remember what the number 1 was?
No,
That's the fun fact that it charted.
Yeah,
Is that
it charted number 2.
Yeah.
But then the following singles, the double A sides, sorted Ease and Whiz with Something Changed. Those charted number 1.
Pulp on top.
Pulp on top.
once again. I think Ian is doing some quick research.
I'm trying to find out what the number 1 was.
Well,
Ease and Whiz and something though.
Well, no. What was number 1 at the time? While we're getting into that, do you want to tell us about the next song we're going to be hearing?
So, we played a song from 93. We're going off to 94. This is my favorite year of music just in general. So many great releases. But specifically in the world of Britpop, 4 big albums. My favorite album of all time, Suede's Dogman Star, Oasis' debut album, Definitely Maybe, Blur's breakout album, Park Life, and Pulp's semi-breakout album, not really, as I mentioned, His and Hers. And now we're going to play a song from Blur, Park Life. This is track number 3,
Blur.
End of the Century.
And one thing before I figured it out, apparently it was denied the top spot by Robson and Jerome's cover of Unchained Melody by
course.
Elvis.
Wow.
Oh, who could forget?
Of course.
So,
of
wow.
course.
Very
Naturally.
memorable.
Yeah, made history.
Yep.
Blur. Damon Albarn.
No, this was the Pulp one.
No, next
Oh,
we're
sorry,
moving on
sorry,
to
sorry.
Yeah.
the Blur.
Yeah.
Yes.
Big guy. Damon Albarn.
Big guy.
Important fellow.
Yeah.
Notable Ian lookalike.
Right. Notable, like, mostly because he's the only one who's really moved outside of the genre. A lot of people don't really even know this, who are just casual listeners of Gorillaz, but that is actually him.
Same guy.
Same guy.
Yeah.
Same guy.
And
Yeah,
that
no, Tame Impala's just one guy.
exactly.
Yeah.
Hey,
It's a
Frank
similar
Ocean can
thing.
rap.
Frank Ocean can rap.
I didn't know that.
And
you know?
Gorillas is Damon Albarn.
It's
Gorillaz
just
is
one
Damon
guy,
Albarn.
and it's Damon Albarn.
Yeah.
Which
Feel
is
Good Inc.
which is really interesting, I would say, because not only does he go from one genre to a different genre, but he goes from like a lot of acclaim in one country to a lot of acclaim in another country.
Mm-hmm.
Like it feels almost like he went from a UK artist to an American artist in like a like very, very prominent way. Like Gorillaz was big and still is big. And I feel like that I can't really name another artist who's done that same kind of thing. What do you have to say about it, Sam?
I think it's cool.
You think it's cool?
I think it's cool. I like some of the Blur songs.
Right.
I don't know that I'll come out and say it. I don't really know anything about Britpop. I know very little, and the only things that I know are the things that I've been told by Dom or Ian. I haven't really done my own research.
Mm-hmm.
Blur is one of the only bands that I like really loved enough to do my own research and go into it. And even then, I still wouldn't say that I'm any bit knowledgeable about Blur, because I'm really not.
Now, would you say that you're any bit knowledgeable about Gorillaz?
No.
No. Okay.
Feel Good Inc.
I remember when
I
Sam knows
remember when I
Silverback
was,
Gorilla, Harambe. Everyone remember that one?
Oh, that's a throwback.
Sam had something out for
There was
Harambe.
Okay.
Right, you guys
so-
see that?
Oh
Did you
my
guys see that?
God,
Have you
okay.
seen that tweet? That's like talking.
Oh,
the flimsy Steve
Where'd
tweet.
you go?
No.
Where have
There's
you been?
there's this tweet that's talking
Hold
about
on,
how
let's see,
like
I'll see if I
yeah.
can find it.
Or no, I'll just Google it right now.
How about you play the song and then
Yeah,
talk
okay.
it?
How about we
Let's
play
play
the
the
song
song.
and then we're going to talk about Flimsy Steve and give you a trivia question. So, without further ado, this is End of a Century by Blur.
She says there's ants in the carpet, dirty little monsters, eating all the muscles, picking up the rubbish. Give her effervescence, she needs a little sparkle. Good morning TV, you're looking so healthy. We all say don't want to be alone. We wear the same clothes, cause we feel the same. And kiss the giant ends when we say goodnight. Another century, oh, it's nothing special. Sex on the TV, clothes, cause we feel safe. And kiss the dry lips when we say goodnight. End of a century, oh, it's nothing special. Don't want to be alone. We wear the same clothes cause we feel the same. We kiss the dry lips when we say goodnight. End of a century, oh, it's nothing special. We are safe, don't want to be alone. We wear the same clothes cause we feel the same. We kiss the dry lips when we say goodnight. End of a century, oh, it's nothing special, oh.
That was End of a Century by Blur off of their seminal 1994 album Park Life.
Yes.
I have a trivia question for the two of you.
Park Life.
As I'm sure you're familiar, the album cover for Park Life features some dogs.
Two Greyhound dogs.
Greyhound dogs. So
Yes.
the question for you is, where was the Greyhound Stadium on the cover of Blur's Park Life?
Couldn't tell you, Chief. Give me the options.
Or Ian?
How specific is it? Is it a
City?
country? Is
City
it a
name.
City.
City name.
I'm gonna just say Blackpool.
All right.
Blackpool.
So the options are Walthamstow,
Oh.
Catford,
Oh.
Wimbledon,
Wimbledon.
and Romford.
Wimbledon's my answer.
Wimbledon for Dom.
Can you
Ian?
say them again?
Walthamstow, Catford, Wimbledon, and Romford.
I'm gonna go with number 2.
Catford.
Yeah.
I like
The
Catford.
dog in Catford.
Yeah, I like
Okay.
Catford.
All right, okay, so Ian and Sam for Catford. None of you are correct. It was Walthamstow.
Oh,
We
Of
should have
course.
known
Should've
that.
known.
Naturally.
Naturally.
should've.
We were talking a little bit about gorillas before the break,
Mhm.
and we referenced a tweet. Sam, you want to read that?
Of course. So this is a classic, and I'm just gonna read it out. Guest rapper on Gorillaz song. I've been in ends since 10, kicking product round the bend. My mom died of tuberculosis. I'm slipping into psychosis. And then Damon Albarn gets in the chorus saying, can you do it with me, please?
Yes.
Oh, Flimsy Steve, where did you go? What have you seen? That's the average Gorillaz song.
It is. And it's fantastic.
It's not
so it's
entirely
just
wrong.
feel good
Times.
ink, basically.
Yeah,
I don't know.
that's
know.
true. Yeah,
I haven't
the
really,
rap
like,
verse on
read-
Feel Good Inc. is like crazy.
Well, it's
Yeah.
also like everything off of Song Machine.
Yeah. It's a JPEG Mafia cut.
Flimsy Steve,
That's how
where'd
the like the Pink Phantom sounds. That's how Momentary Bliss sounds. That's how all of them sound.
Yeah.
Do you think when Damon Albarn was making Park Life, he would have ever imagined he would have been collaborating with someone named JPEG Mafia?
Probably not. He
I
probably
didn't
couldn't.
even-
He
He said,
didn't
"What's
even
a
know. He
JPEG?"
said, "What is a
Yeah, I was
JPEG?"
gonna
Yeah,
say,
he said,
couldn't-
"I have
well,
no
that's true,
idea
that's
what a
true.
JPEG
He couldn't
Fair
is."
enough.
conceptualize that form of media
Yeah.
storage.
What else you guys got to say about Blur?
Blur released an album in 2023. Their second comeback album, because they released the Miracle Whip 10 years ago. Then hadn't released anything till the Ballad of Darren.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna be honest, it's just okay. It's
Mhm.
not. It's not
There-
I
very
heard the Ballad
good.
of Darren was
There's
just okay.
a good song.
Yeah, the Ballad of Darren, or
Oh,
no,
The
it's
Narcissist.
The Narcissist. Yeah,
Narcissist is quite good, but it's no She Still Leads Me On.
it's no autofiction.
It's no autofiction. It's just fine. It's got a cool cover,
Yeah,
Well,
but,
that's nice.
you know. Yeah, I would like to say about Blur, there's like a really silly vibe with a lot of it. Like
Yes.
the
It's very observational.
yeah, and very like I don't know.
The Jerry Seinfeld of Britpop, if you mean,
Right.
if you will.
Yeah, for a little example, I forget what year it was. It was the Top of the Pops.
1995.
Yeah. They came on with like the like really ridiculous clothes, like a big hat and like giant shoes. One of them was playing like a tiny guitar or something. And it was a song that's not very good.
Country House?
Country House, yep.
Yeah.
Charted number 1.
Against the Battle of Britpop
Yep.
with
Beat out Oasis. What was the song? With the Oasis song?
Roll With It.
Roll With It, which is such a better song compared to Country House.
Out as a single, I don't know if it's the greatest single, but I think it's a solid album track. But I think in general, I prefer Roll With It.
Which one do you listen to more?
It's interesting because I love the bass line of Country House and I'll play along with it, but I don't really care for the song itself.
Right.
But Roll With It, I think on my own time, yeah, I think.
Right? Yeah.
And I think on that note, we have time for one more band and talk through.
Mm-hmm.
So you have 2 options. You can talk about Sleeper and you can talk about Oasis.
So we talked a lot about Oasis. So I think already, just in brief mention, so I think I want to talk about Sleeper.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because one thing about Britpop that people look back on in a negative aspect of how very macho it was, how very laddish it was, and to an extent that's probably very true, but one of my favorite bands that isn't brought up a lot is Sleeper. They formed in 1993, actually influenced a lot by the Pixies, and led by a woman named Louise Winter. She has a really narrative style of songwriting, and I think it really paved the way because now she's a novelist and has been very successful in that field. And I think you can hear it in her songwriting because you can like visualize what she's singing about very well in her songs. So this is, I guess, their breakout single, In Betweener.
And Sleeper, killer cover of Atomic
Yes.
on the Trainspotting soundtrack.
Because they
also.
couldn't get the rights for the Blondie.
the Blondie
version.
one. But honestly, I like the Sleeper cover better than the original Blondie song.
Me
Yeah.
too.
Please enjoy In Betweener by Sleeper.
Shopping for kicks, got the weekend to get through. She's keeping the rain off her Saturday hairdo. doesn't listen, she doesn't love. I think I told you right from the start. Now it's much too late to ask me where I've been. You were just my in-betweener.
That was Sleeper. This is Playing the Changes.
We've got one more trivia question for you guys. First, we want to thank Dom for coming onto the show.
Thank
Thank
you
you,
for having
Dom,
me.
for coming on.
Thanks, Dom.
Thanks, Dom, for coming on the show. Moving into the last track, it's going to be one by probably, I don't know. Would you say they're the most famous of these bands now?
I think so, because
Yeah.
as famous as Dave Albarn is, I think
More
everyone-
people know
more people-
Wonderwall.
Yeah,
It's true.
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
people
True.
know Wonderwall.
Yeah.
You see a white boy with an acoustic guitar and a capo, you know
just
what
kinda
he's
Oh, it's
playing.
over.
And it transcends culture. Like
In a
it's
Guitar
it's almost
Center.
like an American thing now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know,
100%.
before I knew really who Oasis was, I always assumed that they were one American, and two that I didn't like them. And then like I heard any other song but Wonderwall, and I was like, oh, they're British.
Yeah.
Yes. Extremely
Extremely British.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get on the
Let's get
question.
into it. Okay, so this question is: which London street features on the cover
Denmark
of
Street.
Oasis's "What's the Story" Morning Glory?
So that's 2 points for Dom.
Actually, that doesn't seem to be one of the options.
Oh,
What are the options then?
Whoa.
Abbey Road, Shaftesbury Avenue, Regent Street, and Berwick Street.
I'm going number 2.
Shaftesbury, Dom,
You know what? I'll go number 4.
Berwick.
Yeah.
It is Berwick.
Yeah.
Congratulations!
Okay.
I think Dom. What's
5. That's 5-1.
5-1.
Hey,
Well,
but fact
one.
check.
Dom's
You can
favorite.
fact check later.
Yeah,
about
we can
Denmark
fact check
Street.
later.
We'll
I
fact
don't
check
know.
it later. Let's
Fact
let's play the song.
Yeah, the last song, we're actually going to leave it after this, so thank you all for listening. But the last song we're playing is not Wonderwall. This is Don't Look Back in Anger by Oasis. Thank you.
Classic.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.
Slip inside the eye of your mind. Don't you know you might find a better place to play? You said that you've never been, but all the things that you've seen slowly fade away. So I start a revolution from my bed. 'Cause you said the brains I had